Hey, what's up YouTube? Scotty P here, coming to you on a Friday, my first Freehand Friday. And I'm smoking my Don Florian Freehand, which was made with no rotary tools, and at 7 inches and all that hunk of wood is definitely, if not my biggest pipe, one of my biggest pipes. In it, I'm smoking some McBaron HH Pure Virginia. I don't know if you can really see that in the sunlight here. Sun setting on a Friday here. Want to do a VR to WharfeValleyBoy. Tim Waters. I love Tim's channel. I really do. And I keep in touch with him on Instagram and all that too. He's a great guy. Great friend to have. One of the best voices on YouTube, along with his father, Stephen Waters. If you don't follow him, you should check him out too. Tim wants to tell us some jokes or a funny story. I don't have a whole lot of jokes, so I'm going to tell you a story. I was talking with, I think I was talking with Fred, UB Piper, the other day about, he had a story about a baby blue Plymouth Reliant K car. If you don't remember those from the 80s, they were those little squat, square cars. They were just rectangles on tires. One of the ugliest cars of all time, and this being baby blue, because I had one, made it even uglier. Now mine, I got into a really bad car accident when I was 16, and just really bad. Another story for another time, but I totaled my car, and while I was waiting for the insurance settlement, I needed another car. So I bought this baby blue Plymouth Reliant. I think it was in 1984 or in 85, and this was back in like 96. 95, 96. Made it even uglier by the fact that it was in a fire. It was my stepsister's car. I bought it from her for like $500. She was gonna total it because leaves underneath the car. This is fall time. Had started on fire because of the engine and burnt the bottom half of the car because that was all plastic halfway up the door and all that stuff too. So this ugly baby blue Plymouth Reliant K car that was half burnt but was all mine. I've got a few funny stories to go along with that car, and we'll start with one that's funny now, but at the time was more exciting than funny. Let me get this pipe started again. I got the false light going. Let me see if I can get the true light. So, when I was 16, I was in my second band, and we played a lot of Kiss, and Green Day was big at the time. What else did we play? Live? Doesn't matter. First band I ever played a live show in, and maybe I'll tell that story sometime. But the town I'm from, Southington, is known as the Apple Valley, and on the east side of town there's a ski slope. On the west side of town there's a lot of apple orchards and another mountain. So the bulk of the town is in the valley. So we used to practice on the west side of town up near the apple orchards. My drummer's house was up on the mountain, and there was this road that went along the cliff of that mountain, and it was a steep drop, and there was fence, a chain link fence, not like it's going to stop a car, but maybe somebody on a bike, which you shouldn't be biking on that road anyway. Just imagine, think of like every movie you've seen in LA with the canyon, or you know, like up what do they call that? I don't know. I'm not from LA. Trying to think of some other windy road that would be like that. Anyway, just imagine a windy road up in the mountains, all kinds of trees, and a big cliff on the right hand side. So I'm driving down the road and the throttle sticks on the car. I'm 16, I just started driving. So I'm building up speed gradually. It's not like it's going straight to 90 miles. I don't even know if that car would go 90 miles an hour without falling apart. But I'm going 40, 50, 60. Now the big problem is that a couple miles down the road, it takes a more than 90-degree turn to the left, and then goes down a hill, and a quarter mile takes a more than 90-degree turn to the right. So I'm going along, I'm driving, and here's the cliff on the right-hand side, and the throttle's sticking, and there's no way I can make it go, and I'm trying to stomp on the brakes, and I'm not really slowing down much, and I'm 16, and I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'm thinking if I turn off the car, yeah, I'll slow down, but I'll also lose power steering and probably the brakes, and this is all going through my head at the time, and I, just didn't have the experience to really grasp the situation, and it's one of those situations that if you have experience, like now, I'm not really sure what I'd do either. I'd probably react a little bit better. But when I got to that 90-degree turn, the first one, I stood on the brakes. I mean, ass out of the seat, standing on the brakes, and turned the wheel to the left and skidded the car. Good thing it was a squat car, because I skidded, went down that hill, did the same thing at the right-hand turn and skidded, and the only thing I'm thinking is that my drummer's driveway is about a quarter mile long going back up the hill, and if I can make that third 90-degree turn going up the driveway, I could turn the car off and coast pretty much straight up his long-ass driveway. So, make that first turn, go down the hill, make the second turn, make the third turn going up his driveway, and it worked out. I mean, I'm alive, obviously. But I got up there, and the whole time it's coasting up this driveway, it's going ka-kunk, ka-kunk, ka-kunk. And it ka-chunked for about 5 minutes after I turned off the car. And had a buddy's friend who was a mechanic come down and take a look at it, and he was able to blow the gunk out of the throttle and all that stuff, and it worked out. Second story with this car, before I make this into a 20-minute video, because I don't like making really, really long videos, was the second and third story kind of revolve around this movie theater that I was working at in town at the time, which I loved that job. It was great, especially being in high school. It was just an awesome job. That winter, we had a blizzard, the blizzard of '96. My dumbass decided to drive across town and go to work. Just because, I don't know. I've always been crazy like that. So, I mean, I haven't taken a sick day since 1999. I just go to work. So, I go to work during this blizzard, and not a lot of people show up. And we played football in the lobby of this big theater. Tackle football. Those of us that showed up and the bosses and all that stuff, it was a good time. But that car was unbelievably awesome in the snow. It was front-wheel drive, but the thing was just, it was like driving a boat. But it made it through pretty much anything. As long as I could get over the snow, I was doing all right. Story number three. Number three, for those of you Germans out there. Same thing, I went to the theater. I forgot to roll up my driver's side window, and there was a big thunderstorm while I was working. So I get out of work, and I look at the window, and I'm like, oh man, I left the window open. So the driver's seat was all soaked. And rather than just dealing with a wet bum on the ride home, I thought it would be a brilliant idea, since it had a bench seat, to sit in the middle seat and drive left-handed and left-footed home, because I only lived a couple exits down the freeway. So I'm driving in the middle of the seat with my left hand and my left foot, driving down the highway, and people are passing me because they're speeding, not because I was driving slow. I was an idiot. So after a couple people pass me and do double takes, I decided that I would wave to everybody who passed me, and which really blew their mind. But I made it home, and that, folks, is the story of the baby blue 85-ish Plymouth Reliant. Ugly but incredibly dependable car. I mean, the thing was through fires and almost tried to kill me, but it survived that. We both survived that, and made it through snowstorms and all kinds of stuff, and never came really close to crashing it. I almost buried it in a snow pile, but I got used to that. But that's the story behind that, folks, and happy Freehand Friday. And Tim, congratulations on all those subs, man. If you haven't subbed WharfeValleyBoy or his father, Stephen Waters, go ahead and give him a sub. And another guy who I keep forgetting to give a mention out there, and I think he might be running a 100 sub giveaway now. I can't remember. I know he's up around 100. Is Misty Mountain Pipe Smoker. I keep forgetting to give him a little shout out. I've been terrible with shout outs lately. I need to get my act together, folks. So anyway, this is Scotty P. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the subs. Thanks for all that you do for me, and I appreciate you all. So folks, happy Freehand Friday, and salute.